and I was just opening the door. Back I went. I said, God damn, 5 minutes earlier I could have been lunch. It killed 4 people in there, so it wasn't any fun. I mean, wounded 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was from a friendly on the base. What the fuck? A friendly on the base. Okay. I guess he wasn't very friendly. Aren't you vetting these guys before they walk in here with a grenade launcher?
Right.
The fuck y'all thinking?
Wow.
Yeah. Then we actually...
Was that when you got hit with the...
RPG?
Wait. With your RPG?
No, that was years later. And I've been blown up a couple times, Todd.
What?
Shot twice, stuck with a knife, and blown up twice. Hoorah, that's me.
What?
That's why they threw me out. They said you're too old to be in here, first off. Second off, you're gaining too much weight from the lead you collected. I said, okay, I gotta go then. Yeah.
How did you get stabbed?
Well, someplace where I shouldn't have been, obviously. And I felt it. I felt somebody coming up on my left side and went like that. When I did, he stuck the knife, went right through my arm, boom, and it peeled my skin, and the knife was sticking out my arm. I pulled it away from him. I said, God damn, I pulled that fucker out and started doing him. And yeah, but I mean, if I hadn't have done this, he was going from a juggler. He would have had me.
Where was that?
Iraq. So,
In Iraq?
He wasn't playing, that little fucker wasn't. He was ready to kill me. And when you say fight for your life, it ain't as easy as they make it on TV. I mean, when you really fight for your life, it's like, wow, wait, it lasts hours, even if it's only seconds. And it's so adrenaline, just fucking, what the fuck? Todd, the first person I ever shot, I wept like a baby behind this rubber tree laying on the ground. I couldn't even get my rifle back up. I couldn't do anything. I was sobbing so uncontrollably when I saw what I'd done. I said, fuck, I just couldn't handle
You were
it.
so young.
And then I got up mad, because I was mad. I mean, that when the anger really came, and you know, and this last.
So you were sad and then mad that you were.
I think just my morality left me at such a rate. I wasn't prepared for that part of a battle. When you're all of a sudden,
Reality.
don't kill, don't. I mean, all our life we've been taught not to hurt anybody. Try not to hurt them. Don't kill them. Blah blah blah. So the first one you kill is the hardest. Then after that, it becomes pretty cold. I mean, it's not unaffecting to your soul. It's just it's your job.
Move on.
It's your job. You know. And you either accept that job or go get a bakery job. You know, yeah. So
Fly as a cook.
Go. I don't know. Just go plug holes in a donut or something. If that's what you got to do. But I mean, it takes. You know, I had PTSD after the first time I went to combat, and then I spent 4 years in college trying to reproduce that adrenaline high off from drugs, liquor, whatever. Fuck. I mean, I tried to reproduce that high, and then when I finally went back to combat 5 years later, it was like, yep, this is it right here. This is what I was looking for, motherfuckers. All that dope and shit, that wasn't it. This is it right here. I liked it then. And I swore for years I'd never, ever go back. I said, I ain't going back to combat. Fuck that, motherfucker. But then I figured it out. And then when they offered me rank back in for being an enlisted man, I fucking fired it right up. I mean, and then having Navy Seabee training in the Marine boot camp was nothing, because Seabees are trained just like a Marine. I mean, the only thing different a Seabee does is know how to do something. Yeah, I mean, they know how to fight like a Marine, but they know how to build a bridge while they're fighting like a Marine. So,
Right.
Interesting group right there. I mean, people don't give Seabees much credit, but goddamn, those boys, first on the beach, they clear obstructions, they help do all the offloadings right there on the combat beach, so it's not like they're a joke. And then they're out there. The bulldozers had a co-pilot seat next to you where a guy could sit there with a rifle while you were running the bulldozer, because you was out there clearing brush and making space between you and the enemy. You were always a target. So, I mean, being a Seabee wasn't an easy job in the Navy. Those boys there, they train hard, and they got every weapon and wear the same uniform as the Marine Corps, except they don't have the emblem of the Corps on their hats. And it was funny because you know how fleet sailors don't get along with Marines. Never have. You go to the bar, and if you was a Seabee and there was a lot of Navy guys and a few Marines and they started scruffling, you could ease on over to the Navy side and not get your ass whooped. If there was a bunch of Marines and a few Navy, you could go on the Marine side and they'd take you too because you were just like them. So it was like you had the best of two worlds at the bar. You never worried about getting your ass whooped too bad. I'm just saying. That's cold-hearted, but that's true.
So did you become a CB right after you got out of? Was that your first gig?
Yeah, I was promised a CB when I went in on the recruiter. Right, he promised me in the CBs. But when I got in, I became a hole technician somehow, and that wasn't what I wanted. That's where they sent you to welding school and damage control and all that shit, firefighting class and all that stuff. I mean, that was a lot of fun. I mean, they had the SS Buttercup down there in Philadelphia, and it was a section of a destroyer in a big pool. It was like just a midsection of a destroyer, and it was on a big pivot. And they had holes, gaddish, ragged holes. I mean, 5-foot holes like a torpedo would come in. And they'd flood that pond, and then the boat would start flooding. And you'd had to run down the ladder, get down there with mattresses and try to shore up the hole and save the ship from tilting so many degrees. If it tilted so many degrees, you lost the boat. So you had to be real quick. They made you sit up on the top deck like pretend you were playing cards, and the next thing you know, the clacks would be going off, and the bombs would be falling from the air, and you'd hear it all on the recorder, and it was funny. I mean, they did real good. They had planes diving and everything on the recording, and we, my little
Kind of
group,
like McHale's Navy.
yeah, kind of like, but the whole group of us, 7 times we tried to save the Buttercup, and we never could save the Buttercup. I mean, no matter how many mattresses and logs and shoring up we did, that motherfucker sunk every time. I said, well, God damn, that don't make no sense. I mean, 'cause other teams were making it work, you know. And when I had we just couldn't get our fucking act together enough to get the fucking holes plugged up and stop the water. So, that could have been a good possibility, because we were probably not the best of Navy personnel in the Navy, you know, so. But then I got to be a CB after that, which was really cool. I enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, all the training that came with it after Navy boot camp. You got to go to this CB boot camp shit.
Explain to me the first day out of the first day as out of boot camp, going to your tour. What was the first day of, oh shit, I'm really in war?
Oh, when I finally got to war?
What was...
Well, let me tell you how that happened. Okay, we got all of a sudden we're shipped to San Francisco. All of us, like overnight. It was like C-41s all the way. Bam, we land in Frisco. The next morning, we get in this big Air Force hangar there at San Francisco, and Richard Nixon walked in, President Nixon, and he said, I'm proud to be the president of such great men before me. And he said, wow, that's cool. And he goes, and I'm going to be personally in charge of telling you gentlemen, you are the last combat battalion I'm ever sending to Southeast Asia. And the room was silent, just like this. Nobody went, rah, hurrah. Why do we got to be the last unit to be sent? Why couldn't the last unit be the last unit that he sent? So the next day we're all on a plane and we land in Guam. And that was an experience because Guam had all those fucking dodo birds out on the runway and shit. And they got stuck in one of our motors. So we were on the ground for like 12 hours and the rest took off. They all
Dodo birds don't fly?
No, but they're all over the runway and they jump up and down and they didn't clear them good and they fucking jumped up into the motor and what the fuck? It was crazy. So then we walked around Guam for like 12 hours and then we flew right to Vietnam. We were in Tan Son Hut that day. And then when we got to Tan Son Hut, the rest of our unit had been bibbeted in a fucking hangar waiting on our plane to come so we could go do what we were supposed to be doing, right? So now, you know, I'm sitting there way in the back looking at this map of North Vietnam, South Vietnam. I'm looking at where we are, you know, Tan Son Hut. I'm going, okay, I wonder where we're going to be, you know. So the guy gets up there and says, gentlemen, you're heading to Quang Tri, Vietnam. And I said, okay, I'm looking at Quang Tri all around, you know, down there in Saigon, you know, there's Quang Tri. And this Airedale boy goes, "What you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for Quang Tri." And he took my finger and he went like this. Way up north on the map. I'm going, "You kidding?" He goes, "No, right there." He goes. I said, "What the fuck? That's like 20 miles from the DMZ." He said, "Yeah, it ain't a very friendly place up there." I said, "God damn." So now the guy's showing us little video clips. He goes, "There's a snake." He goes, "Here's another snake." He goes, "And I got 98 more snakes to show you, but I'm not going to bother." He goes, "Do not fuck with the snake." He goes, 98% of 100 are poisonous. He goes, "Don't fuck with the snakes." He goes, then he showed a picture of a little kid. He said, "This is your enemy." And an old lady, he said, "This is your enemy." So a VC, he goes, "This is your enemy." He goes, "Pretty much count on everybody around here being your enemy too." He goes, "So we're not in a very friendly environment." He goes, "You're a full of hostile environment." He goes, "So take care, get up under the wing of somebody that's been here a minute, you'll live longer." I said, "Wow, so, off we go in helicopters the next day, 9 deep. We all get in the choppers and we fly to Quang Tri. All of a sudden we're going in and the pilot screams back, we hot!" And I'm going, "What's hot mean?" All of a sudden, the helicopter hit the ground. I said, "God damn." And then the crew chief started shoving us out the door, and as we're getting shoved out the door, they're taking off. So the last one out fell about 12 feet to the ground. I'm going, "Fuck." And the chopper's taking off, and then you could hear this boom, 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 boom. And so they come running up and grabbed us and threw us down on the ground next to a fucking bunch of sandbags and said, "You ain't gonna live long in Quang Tri like that." I said, "God damn." And then you could smell the core dot and the excitement in everybody's voice, and we were getting rocketed and hit with mortars as we were landing.
So when the helicopters come over, it's a real...
Well, see, that didn't bother me at that time. The helicopter thing didn't happen until this last trip.
The last trip.
The last
trip
was,
is what did
fucked me. Yeah. The last trip took me mentally to a place I shouldn't have been there.
When you told me you
Yeah.
were considering going, I thought,
What?
oh, fuck.
I shouldn't have
When
When I went in this last trip to Afghanistan, I should have never went there, bro. I got really burnt. I'd handled it real good right up until this last trip. It was just too much. I saw too much.
It was too much. It was too young, too close to me. It was just not good timing at all. I mean, I don't think there was any time.
Combat's a good place to go if you're pissed off. Age factored in on how I digested what I was doing at that point.
Yeah, and
I developed up here enough to where it didn't make any sense. So I was fighting morality with, what was really happening. Because what really happens in combat doesn't seem real. I mean, it just don't seem real. That's the only thing you can, it's surreal. That's all it is, combat. It's the only way to explain it. It's like it's not really happening, but it is. Here they come now. Goddamn. Get ready! Yeah, man.
So that was your first day.
Yep.
When was your first time you went to sleep?
Oh, I slept that night.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep, so then I was in country for...
Yeah, right here.
Oh, sorry. I was in country for like 3 weeks, and I got a pass to go downtown Quang Tri where I could go look at the village, Quang Tri was the worst logistical military base I'd ever seen. I was just saying, it was like 2 bases at an airport. One base at one end of the runway, and a base at the other end of the runway. Nothing in between. Like no fences, no security. It was like NVA ran through the runway all night long and attacked both of our little bases on each end of the runway. It was the worst tactical base I'd ever seen. Yeah, I'm just saying. So it wasn't very friendly. I mean, I didn't like it there, but as I said, about the 3rd week there, I got to go downtown and sit at a little bar, and that's where I met Billy Shackley in blue jeans and a t-shirt.
Billy who?
A friend of mine, Billy Shackley. He was an operative for the CIA.
Oh.
And him and I struck up a conversation. We liked each other, and then a week later, I seen him again. He said, "Why don't you come work with us, man?" I said, "I can't do any of that." I said, "What the fuck would I do with y'all, man? I don't know nothing." He goes, "My boss, which was Dickie Helms,
Dickie Helms.
Yeah, Richard Helms was in charge of the CIA at that time, and he was in trouble in the Pentagon because he hadn't hired enough people to do the jobs that needed to be done. So he was recruiting as hard as he could recruit. So Billy Shackley said, "Yeah, you get to wear blue jeans, dude." I said, "I'm in the Navy. I can't. I said, "I can't come with you." I said, "I'm already in the Navy, man." He goes, "Yeah, well, if you really want to come," he goes. I said, "I'll think about it." So let's see. A couple weeks later, we're out doing just a recon because we were supposed to be backed by the 101st Airborne Division. They were down the street, right? Well, they all pulled the fuck out. So we had to do our own recons now around our base to make sure Charlie wasn't setting up camp, from here to the pond. So, we were out on a recon one day, 105 degrees, muggy as fuck, sweating. I got all this gear on. I remember walking into camp through the little walkway to enter the camp, and I get in there, and somebody comes up and says, "Hey, Ellingson, guy over there wants to talk to you." I look, and there was the guy from the bar. I said, "Wow." I walked over there. I said, "Billy, what's up, man?" I said, "What are you doing out here?" And he goes, "Come to get you." I said, "What do you mean you come to get me?" He goes, "Because I know you made a decision that you'd like to wear blue jeans and a t-shirt." I said, "Well, I'd really like to do that." I said, "But, I'm sure my commanding officer's got something else to say about that." He goes, "I already spoke to him." I said, "And then what did he say?" He says that you're with me. I said, "That easy, huh?" He goes, "That's the way it works." He goes, I said, "Well, can I go get my gear?" And he goes, "It's already on that black chopper sitting right there. Come on." And that's how it began. Then we flew back to Tansen Hut, and I went to Marble Mountain with him, which was the operative center of all the intelligence agencies there. And Billy and I teamed up real hard, and we just went out and did looking around. That's what we did. I mean, tried to avoid any confrontations. To me, that was a lot easier than up in Quang Tri, because we were down in the Delta, in the Mekong Delta region. Tougher region because it's swampy and the river and mucking mosquitoes, but I mean, it was a little easier duty, working with him. So then when they were done, I went back to the CB unit and finished out my tour and went to college. I mean, then when I got out and finished college, that's when the Corps wrote me back and invited me back at officer rank because of my engineering degree. And I said, "Well, cool, I'm gonna go do something in the Marine Corps in the engineering department, I guess." Got in the Corps, went to Quantico somehow. I ended up going to Quantico, and I said, "That's pretty weird, but it's a Marine Corps base, but not really. It ain't like a training base or anything. It's
CIA, isn't it?
Well, Quantico's CIA, FBI academies there.
Right.
And yeah, so I went there as a Marine. There was a Marine contingency there, so I had a billet at the officers' BOQ and checked in, and the next day I got called down to this little office, and they said, "Welcome back." I said, "Welcome back? Who the fuck are you guys?" And they said, "You worked with us in Nam, and we'd like you to work with us again." And I said, "So what's this mean?" "Blue jeans and a t-shirt." I said, "Oh, okay." So that's what I did. Yeah, interesting theories there. And then when I got in all the trouble and had to go to prison for drugs and banks and this and that, I had a hell of a record. So when I got out, I knew I couldn't go back in the Marine Corps because I had not one, not two, 3 or 4 felony convictions. I wasn't going to get back in the Corps. Billy Shackley called me up. He goes, "Hey, dude, what you doing?" I said, "I just got out of prison, Billy." I said, "Stop being a smart ass, man." He goes, "You want to go to work?" I said, "I got felony convictions. I couldn't pick up an automatic weapon again if I tried." He goes, "Send me all the paperwork you got." He goes, "We'll see what we can do." 2 weeks later, car pulled up. 2 guys got out. They came up with a yellow envelope and said, "Nah, Billy Shackley sent us." I said, "Great." I said, "What's this?" And he walked off, looked in the envelope. There was $20,000 in cash, a passport, and a plane ticket to Istanbul. I said, "What the fuck?" I called Billy at the house. I said, "What the fuck is all this shit?" He goes, "Dude," he goes, "you're perfect." He goes, "You got all those felony convictions." He goes, "It's perfect." He goes, "Listen, we're going to send you to Istanbul, and then you're going to Morocco from Istanbul." He goes, "We're filtering you through Istanbul into Morocco." He goes, "And then the paperwork will explain the rest. Hang out and find out the information we want in Morocco." I said, "It's like that?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "And by the way, when you get off the plane in Morocco, you will be followed." He goes, "So be aware of that and try to get rid of them because it ain't ours." I said, "Okay, Billy." So I went to Morocco, checked into the hotel that they had rented in advance, right on the beach. I put my gear up, walked across the street. The car was still there that had followed the cab with me in it. I walked out on the beach. There was a group of hippies sitting there smoking hash. I said, fellas, I said, how about me? And they said, sit down, dude. I said, cool. So I sat down. I had the hair down to here. Yeah, they didn't make me cut any hair or nothing. It was weird. I said, this fucking, I like this. So the first night in, through the hippies smoking hash, I found all the information out that they were asking me to find. The first night in.
That one night.
So yeah, the
That was
first
so
night.
easy
So,
peasy,
so wait,
you
so
got
now
vacation.
4 days later, I check in. They said, "But find out." I said, "Nothing." As I'm drinking a margarita at their expense. I said, "Nothing, dude." I said, "It's going to take a while. This ain't easy." Okay, Rick, let us know. I said, okay. Another margarita and put it on the tab. Matter of fact, buy this girl another margarita and put it on the tab. I mean, I was eating 4 or 5 dinners a night because I was just fucking.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, but wait, so 3 weeks later, I called them up and said, "Yeah, I found out the shit," because I didn't want to stress it. But out of prison to the Marine base, right on a beach in Morocco, 3 weeks paid vacation, sitting there doing nothing but smoking the best hash ever. And I figured, well, this is going to be good duty right here. And it really did turn into pretty good duty. I mean, I made it that way. So, and then my cover, because I had all these felony convictions on my record, everywhere as I went, the country's going, "What felonies?" Yeah, but no murder, no rape, no child molesting, no bank robbery. I said, so they'd let you in. But it also dropped their suspicions of me being a Marine. You understand? Because Marines didn't have hair down to here, nor did they wear civilian clothes. So the Marines have a division which is like you can be a Marine Corps spy. That's people don't hear that, but I mean, there's a spy unit within the Marine Corps that does forward observation before any Marines ever hit the ground anywhere. I mean, there is civilian Marines on the ground everywhere, eyeing things out, seeing what's right, what's wrong, what could happen, how it could happen, when it could happen. You try to assess every scenario possible. You don't just sit there and take pictures. You start assessing. So before all this really happened in Quantico, I continued to take classes. They sent me to the FBI Academy for 3 classes, and then a bunch of refresher courses on weaponry and tactical movers and whatnot. But I mean, so it was kind of fun. I mean, I made it brief and short, but I had a lot of fun. I mean, just saying.
You got to see the world.
Right, I got to see the world. Sometimes not in the best of places. I'd rather been somewhere else. So, and then, back in the day, you could get on military hops. They let you if the plane was heading where you wanted to go, you